will drop down to 40 for a low. Better chance of rain Tuesday into Tuesday night, maybe even some severe thunderstorms as well. High temperatures will get up into the mid-60s then. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and TicketFM.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Hey, bestie.
Whoa, how'd you snag that awesome set of wheels? I'm in the market for a new car, too.
My friends at Members Own Credit Union. You're always in the driver's seat when it comes to your finances at Members Own.
Always in the driver's seat, huh?
Yep. They set you up with a loan that makes sense for your budget with great rates and top-notch customer service to boot.
Looks like we're going to need to make a pit stop.
Let's go. I'll drive. Hit the road to financial success and explore auto loan options with your best financial friend, Members Own Credit Union. For details, go to membersowncu.org/drive. Federally insured by the NCUA.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best they can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. Tailored Landscapes is on the brink of spring cleanups for all their existing customers, and they have limited spots available. They trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give Tailored Landscapes a call at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of their designers and stop by the Tailored Life store in Bennett. Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
Imagine a healthier, more active, physically fit version of yourself. If you've been putting off getting into shape, now is the time with the Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping 10-Week Challenge. Our program combines kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching to help you achieve your fitness goals. And ticket listeners, you can get $150 off your enrollment. The next 10-week challenge begins on April 12th. You can get all the info at fxblincoln.com. Don't wait any longer. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill and 70th and Vine.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Advanced Medical Imaging is the largest radiology group in Nebraska, located in Lincoln at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they utilize state-of-the-art technology and blend it together with their compassionate, skilled team to guide you through every step. Whether it's an MRI, CT scan, or X-ray, their precise diagnostics help your doctor deliver the best care plan for you. Choose clarity and comfort in your life by choosing Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard and online at amimaging.com.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call today at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Old School. Harrison Arns on the 1s and 2s, going solo just for a little bit here. Should be joined by Jay Foreman later within the hour. As always, you guys can join in 402-464-5685. That is the Sutter Heyman text line. You can put a voice to the face. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, channel 961. All right, kick off last hour here, at least for the day shows before we get to ticket weeknights. We will have Tom Chattel of the Omaha World Herald at 6 o'clock, and we'll talk mainly Husker football there. Let's talk a little bit more Husker hoops as they got Arizona State tonight in the debut of the College Crown down there in Vegas. Austin Orman's down there as well, so we'll have some sort of coverage with it. We'll see what happens post-game wise, where we're at in the Ticket Weeknights program, if we can slip him in there. If not, he will post it from the hotel room. I'm sure I'll put a recap, and hopefully he's down there to look forward to more than just one game tonight versus Arizona State. With that being said, though, I do see the man of the hour, Jay Foreman himself. We'll go ahead and plug him in. Jay Foreman, Old School. How's it going?
It's going all right, man. You know that you got pregame here in about let me see, what is it, 5, 6, about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. It's still good enough time to go ahead to the Mercado, get you a little rubber-dub in Grub. 4 locations: 84th and Havelock, 30th Yankee Hill, 85th and Andrew-Matt, 168th and Maple up there in the O. Even though I don't have a discount code, go in there and tell them Jay sent you. It's like when they, I don't know if you ever seen Harrison and Revenge of the Nerds when they say tell them Large Marge sent you, the bus driver. You remember that? That's me. Just tell them Large J sent you. But nevertheless, obviously the big game for the Huskers, and obviously with the NCAA tournament, I think it's a little odd time. Harrison is like because it's been so long since they've played, but also I think it's good because it's a Monday night. I know, obviously, I think the women play tonight, but the women's NCAA tournament play tonight. But I think, obviously for Nebraska folks to get one last glimpse of this team, and hopefully they put on a good performance, and with 16 teams be able to extend it, way well past tonight. But
what's best case scenario and worst case scenario for Nebraska basketball as a program in this tournament?
Well, I guess I'll just keep it simple. Your best case scenario, you win tonight, extend your season. Worst case, you don't. And I guess that's the real simple. I think if you lose with the unbelievable performance from Arizona State, then it's understandable. But if you go out there and don't play well, I think that's probably the eyesore. But I think with 3 weeks off, I think Fred and those guys have shown the ability to get guys ready to go, especially if you got your 2 bell cows ready to play. Obviously, Juwan, Gary, and Bryson, and obviously everybody else going to continue to play there one more time for Nebraska. So I think that'll bode well. But, Arizona State's going to fight back. They got a senior-laden team, and so they're going to be pretty tough. And then also, when you haven't played in a while, it'll really depend on how intentional you've been in practices leading up to tonight. And you can't change what you led up to tonight because it's already in the past, but you got to make sure you show up focused and ready to play 40 minutes or however long it needs to go. And it's no different than we'll flip a little bit to the spring ball. Obviously the first week is over. I don't think much has came out of it, but I think it's just getting to know the new players, which is going to be every year. For the people that cover the game or cover the team, it's an easy job for them. It's going to be constant turnover, coaches and players, but I think it's a unique time for Nebraska. because I think this is and it's a good time for, Coach Rule, where you kind of get to come in, have some success the first couple of years. Probably not the success he wanted, but still success where you make a bowl game big. But this is like you get to start over. And it's almost like, I guess, Harrison, we'll go with your Chicago Bears, right? It's like me taking over the Bears after like Mike Ditka was there and they'd done something good. I still have some holdovers, have some success, maybe make the playoffs and stuff like that. But then now this is the time that I get to start over. Unlike the Bears, I think Nebraska has a franchise quarterback, but I don't know if that was a good analogy. But what I mean is very rarely, well, not all the time in the NFL, you get to start your, I guess, your tenure as a head coach, GM or whatever with the legit franchise quarterback. You know what I'm saying? It's generally like, you got to hit Genie in a bottle and draft the RG3 or, obviously we got Daniels out there with the Commanders and stuff like that. So I think the good thing about it, you got a franchise quarterback that's going through all the, success or hopefully potential success, adversity, along with everybody in the building. But it's a good thing to have when you know that you have your quarterback position solidified. That's the hardest position to get. It's the hardest position to hit on. And then obviously by all, at least my evaluation, my evaluation that Dylan's done that. And so, and then obviously you got some good pieces around it. So now it's like how to gel, but you got to gel at the right pace and with the right people, and competition is only hopefully going to bring out the best in everybody.
Yeah, I think, like, if anything were going to be the reason this season went awry, just be people not being on the same page. I mean, you got every coach out there. I mean, you got new OCs, but you kept the old one. New special teams coordinator, you kept the old one. You got Stewart just running the GM, taking more off of Matt Rule's plate. So you got a million coaches that should be able to dial in certain aspects. You even got Phil Snow helping John Butler out more, I presume, with the defense. So it's like, as long as you guys are all on the same page, there's more than enough help and some of the best facilities in the country.
Right.
And, we'll see what the athletes, but I don't want to get too excited because we've done this before with great, grabs out of the portal and great signing classes, and guys haven't panned out. But also with the development, you got more than enough great coaches to keep up on the development side of things. So really year 3, like if the communication is there, I have a hard time seeing this team really struggle a lot if they just keep on the track they were. I think, even 7 wins, I think for most fans be pretty disappointing. I think 8 is probably that real threshold.
Right.
But to me, it just comes down to communication. I mean, it's my point. Like, you got every coach available for those guys to get better.
Right. Yeah. I mean, people always ask, like, obviously, it's not the 90s, but I think one thing that's just not going to change, whether it's high school, college, the pros, XFL, UFL, Canadian League, if you have everybody from the top to the bottom, that's from even the president of the university, the board of regents, the head coach, the GM, athletic director, whoever's like running the logistics and football, the COO or CEO of the football, and then obviously, even like with Susan Elza and Haven Fields, you got in all the assistant coaches, if you got everybody pulling in the right direction or pushing in the right direction or rowing, whatever analogy you want to do it, then it'll all work out. And then obviously, because then the players will kind of feed off of that. But then, any adversity, you have enough experience to deal with it. And you're right. Where Butler was there last year, so I think he was there the whole season. Obviously, he came in under unique circumstances, but I think in order for him to become the defensive coordinator, I think the way that he embraced becoming the defensive back coach, it probably gave a little bit of pause, where it feels like, okay, if he can handle this, he can handle another big step up, because you didn't get to come in and go through spring ball. You kind of got it right before, I think, 2-a-days, because of the situation it was before. And then you got Phil Snow, who's seen everything and been everywhere, and where he can not only help Butler, as another set of eyes and experience, and it's kind of like just having a big brother there that's been through it. He can also help, like, Coach Dana, as far as like what the defense is trying to do to the offense, because if Nebraska starts off like they should, people are going to start throwing the kitchen sink at the second year quarterback in that offense to slow him down. And so you need a defensive perspective sometimes. Not that he needs to be the offensive coordinator, but I probably look at how they're attacking the offense a little bit different than maybe the coordinator. So I think right now, like as far as like the experience on the staff, it's probably right where you want it to be, or hopefully. But then now you got to make it, all, come together. But more importantly, the players have got to raise their level of, execution and accountability. And I think the good thing about it is when you go through it together, you could have a lot of experience, on a team, but everybody be inexperienced to winning here at Nebraska, which we've seen. But then also it's a good thing if everybody's going through at the same pace. And so you're all in together. Yeah, you got some star power, some guys that are supposed to be good, and you got some guys you don't know about that are going to end up, taking some reps and getting some of the, I guess the love or whatever you want to call it. But then also you're going to get punched in the mouth, as well. So you got to be able to deal with that type of adversity, but then also keep raising the expectations. Don't just settle for, say you're at 7-1, then let's just win them all. Let's try to win them all, and don't let a team's perceived advantage on you, like a Penn State or something like that, make you get on the plane and not or doubt yourself one bit getting off the plane, knowing that you can beat them. So that's going to come up through hard work and some bumps in the road, but you got to really be invested into it. And I talked about it before, how intentional they're being day in and day out will lead to the spring. I feel the spring ball and how they attack it individually and collectively really plays out the first third of the season. And then I think
ready when the games are going. At that point,
what I'm saying is that's where I feel like you play the season before it's played. Now you don't, but that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
And then you play that what you do after spring, right? When you get after that, like you get over spring and the whole lovey-dovey thing is over, and then now you got to get back to work. That leads you through the second part of the hard part of the season. Maybe you've gotten some success. It leads you to keep working the dog days of the summer, and then how you deal with the fall and through the first quarter of the season, how you practice and how you deal with real time success or failures will how you finish. And so spring ball is definitely important, no matter if there's a spring game or not. It's definitely a part of the year that cannot be minimized or not be appreciated, but you also have to make sure that you are putting enough, I guess, bricks in your foundation that can't be broken. And it's hard to do when you have a lot of competition. But if you're competing the right day, I always say like this, you're operating individually because I want to win my spot or whatever it would be, but I'm thinking collectively. And if you get that type of mindset throughout your whole team and, flip that 80-20, or for that 20-80 to 80-20, it'll be a successful season before you know it.
Yeah, and I think, it's easy to use like the 90s Osborne teams as like a good example of that, but I think you can speak to that. Like the 20% on the teams that you played on, I'd imagine they got checked quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, you don't win without adversity or friction. Heck, some of the guys that we play, we still got friction, but it's good friction. I'll still go to bat for them, and I don't have to love them. I gotta like them enough to go to bat for them. So I think it's one of those things that, everybody sees the end result. What we win in championships, that's the end result. But the work and the blood, sweat, and tears and the sacrifice and all that stuff, and the willing to compete and willing to get your butt kicked and get up and play for one another, that's what you don't see. And that's what makes it special when you're able to win. And they got a little tiny taste of it, with the bowl game. Now, if the younger players that are trying to step into bigger roles, they got to step up as leaders, and then they got to step up as full-time playmakers, and then also still deal with the expectations or actually I like the standard of what should be even raised even higher. And, if you have your standards so high that, you reach it, you're going to be a champion. If you don't, then everybody's like, okay, that's a pretty successful program. You won't have many complaints of the fans or, alumni bases or any of the knuckleheads on the radio, talking about the team. So, it's a good time. I mean, I've only seen them once. They look like a good team, like physically look good, which is great. So obviously, that people are investing in. The hardest thing to do is work out and run without any game. One thing, Harrison, when you start winter conditioning, the first week is fun because you're excited, right? Everybody's trying to show off a little bit. You get about the third week, you're like, man, this is hard, because you gotta find ways to be motivated. You gotta start thinking about a season that seems like it's never going to come around the corner, and the next thing you know, you have the 100-day countdown, or 99 days to the kickoff, and next thing you know, you got 9, and you don't want to panic. You don't want to be like me when I was about to take a test in accounting 2. When you're trying to scramble and overload at the very end and never works out. But as long as they're putting in good, honest work, it'll definitely work out, for themselves, because they got a lot of talent, a lot of options. And then also they just, need to apply enough pressure on the players to become the answers. And that's going to be an ongoing process, even with the unique, April 26th, Husker games, which, I think as time goes out, obviously I'm a captain, I'm going to be picking, I ain't playing. So that's a good thing. First of all, it'd be a bad look for it to get me out there and play in any type of, any type of form with 2 bad ankles, bad neck, bad back. It would be must see TV. I know they're doing TikToks now. They would probably do the highlight of when I probably had the interception against Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
And then what it looks like, how it started, how it ended. That would be, and hopefully it'd be
an angry letter from Advanced Medical Imaging.
Yeah, well, hopefully the ending wouldn't be me face planting on that new turf out there and embarrass myself too bad. But they're going to try to make the most of it, and I think there's going to be an ongoing process with that too. They're going to see how it goes this year. I think it's going to be a good turnout, and then as it probably starts to go around college football, less true football games, you just have to probably put your mark on it from the Nebraska standpoint. So it'll be real interesting to see how it goes and how it's received, but then also to make sure the players need to make sure they get something out of it. Every chance you get a chance to step on the field, you got to make the most of it. So if you're not getting after it per se on that Saturday, you damn well better be getting after it every day before that. You know what I'm saying, Harrison? Because every time you got to attack practice as a place to strive, not survive. You know what I'm saying? And that's a hard thing to do because you always think, okay, I got enough time. Well, there is no time. The time is now. The time is today or whenever you have a practice and what you got to do. And if you don't appreciate that time and if you aren't grateful for that opportunity, there'll be guys that'll come in here and next thing you know, they'll be passing you by or looking at you, as they're slowly passing you by. And then you're going to have to deal with that, pain of regret, which is obviously well worth the pain of discipline and what you have to go through to get it. But that's a Husker wrap up, Harrison. We're going to talk a little NFL news. I'm going to ask you about your Bears, right?
Yeah, you kind of dissed them earlier, saying how they don't have a generational, their future quarterback.
No. What I'm saying, up until now,
okay,
when Mike Ditka in there, they've never had a franchise quarterback.
Jay Cutler was kind of nice.
Yeah. Okay. I mean,
I know
not really. Yeah, but not. Hey, Harrison, I'll tell you this. You my boy, man, but dang, Jay Cutler? I mean, I think Jay Cutler lost his franchise quarterback badge when he had the hamstring injury, and then when the backup was doing well, he wanted to go in the game. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, he was just a wild card. Fun memories with him. I'll say that much. And the one year, we playing the Packers in that NFC title game.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
What about Rex Grossman?
Yeah, I mean, you can throw him up there. It's just
he got you to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's not a big barrel. Is
all. Yeah,
the one that I was alive for. I mean, you're looking 99 on. It's probably 2005 when I was actually really starting to pay attention, and it's
been a struggle. But
06.
We'll talk a little. We'll talk a little Bears. We'll talk a little Steelers. And I want to get your opinion on a quarterback that was picked by the Bears, the number 12 pick. I'm reading right here. That just was anointed by the head coach and the GM and the team as QB1 out there in New York. And what do you think about that? Obviously, you like Caleb Williams, but I want to get your true, honest thoughts on Justin Fields. But we're going to take a break. Jay Foreman, old school Jay Foreman, brought to you by the Mercado. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're in Baton Rouge at the original Raising Cane's with the man that started it all.
Wait, are you the Yes Chef guy?
Todd started this place 28 years ago with one goal in mind: making the best chicken fingers in the world. We got their famous box combo, chicken fingers, crinkle cut fries, Texas toast slaw, and their world famous cane sauce. Good cheddar tier right now.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits is your place in North Lincoln to go for all your needs in wine, spirits, and beer. They also have a large variety of cigars in their walk-in humidor, and they have a top-notch walk-in temperature-controlled high-end wine room. Plus, you can enjoy free samples from their tasting bar. There's only one place to go for all your needs for spirits and cigars. That's Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln. Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Buffalo Wings and Rings today on 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake. At Fairway Meat Market, you're family, and as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through April 6th, enjoy all-natural, thick-cut bone-in pork chops for $2.48 per pound, all-natural boneless chicken breasts $2.99 per pound, 5-ounce portions of tuna steak, mahi-mahi, or swordfish for $3.99 each, and Busch Light 30 racks just $17.99 each when you purchase 2. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center, just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What over back, Jay Foreman, old school. Brought to you by the Mercado. Certified Piedmontese, special ingredients of Butcher Shop, 4 locations, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Ondrebat, and 168th and Maple up there in the little NFL, Harrison. We're going to skip over your Bears because you got a little salty. They've been making some moves, man. I give the Bears, they've been making some moves. I want to talk a little bit about Pittsburgh Steelers. Obviously, I think they have the it's like the NFL meetings or something. All the coaches are there because they tweeted out the picture of all the coaches. It was funny. They had 5 super? They put the number of Super Bowls, just 5 coaches. Obviously, 3 with Andy Reid, 1 with Sirianni, and 1 with Mike Tomlin, and everybody else. They were like X's over them, which is funny, just because they don't realize how hard it is to be a Super Bowl champion. But then obviously, Bill Belichick is not too far removed from being essentially the overlord of the Super Bowl trophy. Pittsburgh Steelers obviously made some big splashes in free agency. Both of their quarterbacks are now gone. Both of them actually in New York, and so they'll be able to trade notes on how fun it is to play in that New York media. But the big name that everybody talks about is Aaron Rodgers possibly going to Pittsburgh. Went on a visit, left, and you got Cam Hayward telling him, like, look, if you want to come here to win, come here to be a part of the team. And you haven't heard anything from Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he's been on Pat McAfee's show or doing his thing or showing his toes or anything like that. When he's on Pat McAfee's show, but it's interesting that Pittsburgh, where when they needed to upgrade at wide receiver, go get Metcalf. You got Knucklehead Pickens. You got Fairmouth. Looks like they're going to go with Warren as the running back. They could always draft one. I think it's a really good draft for, rookie running backs to come in and play a big role, let alone start. I'm sure they're going to shore up the offensive line and keep, trying to plug in there. But they don't have a quarterback. They didn't even get Jameis. I thought Jameis would be there if they're going to draft somebody. It's either Aaron Rodgers or bust, because if you get a rookie quarterback in Pittsburgh, that's not gonna in that division. You're asking for a beating, because you're going to be playing against the likes of Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and whoever's in Cleveland. But Cleveland has Myles Garrett, so he's the ultimate equalizer, and so they have to get Aaron Rodgers or make a trade. I'm going to ask you this: if Aaron Rodgers signs there, do you think they're successful? That's the first question. Second question is, if they don't pick Aaron Rodgers, who's out there that they could possibly trade for or would?
I don't know about Rodgers. Rodgers scares me if I'm a GM today. He's either going to walk in there and I think at best, like, you'll just be a good team. You'll make the playoffs and maybe second round at most, or it'll just completely blow up and be worse than you can possibly imagine. And Tomlin will finally go under 500.
Yeah.
You almost have, you almost have to with what you brought in already. You got to bring in Rodgers, because there's nobody else out there that, not that I can think of, that I'm willing to spend money on that I trust. And Rodgers is probably looking pretty desperate, because I think Vikings doubled down on not wanting him, and they're leaving it to McCarthy. So Rodgers, he might not have a whole lot of leverage.
Right.
At the same time, you're desperate.
Yeah, his only leverage is that he could just go and be in the media and then maybe take a year off, right?
Yeah. Or wait mid-season for somebody to need a quarterback.
Yeah, which that wouldn't work with him being 40, 41 years old. So I think you have two people that are trying to, like, dig their heels in the sand. Both of them have no leverage, but they're trying to, like, bluff their way. Now for Aaron Rodgers, I don't think it's a money thing. I think it's kind of being able to do what he wants. I'm sure there's things that he likes to do. As far as I really think he wants the ability to change plays at the line of scrimmage. I think that was a big deal that at New York. Didn't work out well, so I think he's going to have to give some, which is probably some of his time in the offseason to get that. There's no reason to ask to change plays and you're not around. You can't do much from like Zoom and all this other stuff. But I mean, heck, you even got the Cleveland Browns potentially. I saw some dude said that they are actively trying to trade for Dak Prescott with that contract, and it's not above. That means Cleveland thinks that they can get out of from under the Deshaun Watson fiasco and replace it with Dak. Both of them will be coming off pretty major injuries. I would say Deshaun Watson might not play this year, and Dak is essentially tore his hamstring off he had a real bad hamstring injury. So you're not getting healthy quarterbacks that you could plug and play and say, you know what, we can start lighting it up in Cleveland. So and Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure, wants to go to a winner, and that's the best choice. I think, Daniel Jones is a guy that you would look at. He's at Indianapolis. Geno Smith is in the Raiders. Darnold is there. So
where's
at this
point, at? Is he still on the Raiders? Not great.
Yeah,
but
that's I think he was at Denver because he got beat out by Knicks last year because I think he went from the Raiders to Denver. So there's not a lot of choices out there. And yeah, you could draft a rookie quarterback, but now that's really doing the coin flip. Now I would say this, and you give me your opinion. I think Shedeur Sanders is probably more ready to play at Pittsburgh. Well, let me take that back. I think he's probably more pro ready because he's a very accurate passer. I think if they could, Cam Ward might come in there and light it up just because of his ability to break the pocket, throw deep, and create plays with his legs and obviously his arm on the run. He's shown the ability to be very accurate doing that. But I don't see Pittsburgh giving up a whole bunch of draft capital to get up to the top 5, or maybe they think Jackson Dart or somebody like that's going to fall to him. But then you're trying to recreate Ben Roethlisberger back in the day. And I don't know if their defense is as dominant as it was back then. So it's crazy that a place like Pittsburgh that I felt like had 2 starters hung their hat on Russell Wilson. I felt like they should have. I know Russell gave him a big spark, but I think down the stretch, Justin Fields could have paid dividends, really loosen the defense up because he's a big, fast, strong quarterback and prospect.
Well, he had him at 4-2 when Russell Wilson took over officially.
Yeah.
So it's like he was winning games when he was the starter.
Yeah, it wasn't looking pretty, but Russ has always been a very good deep ball thrower. But then teams adjusted to that, and the running game wasn't in the continuity of the offense didn't look. It looked a little discombobulated. Now they don't have a quarterback. That's it. They don't have one, and you get they still got Mason Rudolph. I don't even know if he's on the team. So you this deep into the offseason and you're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, it has to be to the point because the draft is coming up here pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pick up the phone and say, listen, dude, we're going to do this or not. Like, you know where Pittsburgh is. We know you. Even if it's for 1 year or a 2-year contract and an option, what are you waiting on? Because for Aaron Rodgers, if you're waiting on Minnesota, well, then I can make that decision for you. You get what I'm saying? I go, all right, well, go shoot your shot because they're going to give J.J. McCarthy every chance to win it because that's who they invested in. That's who was going to be the starter last year. And unfortunately, he had an injury, and then obviously here comes Sam Darnold. So there's not a lot of options out there for him. There's not a lot of options out there for Pittsburgh. And so it's kind of like a arranged marriage, but they don't want to go to the altar yet. And I don't know if it was by circumstances. It's almost like arranged marriage, and the dad or something like knocked off 2 of the husbands. Is like, all right, this is the dude I really want you to marry, but he's like, nah, I got a business meeting. I don't know if I'm gonna be there. And they're like, yeah, your business meeting is to get married, and they haven't done it yet. So now the clock's ticking because I can see Pittsburgh not waiting, and then just say, you know what, I'm done waiting. You don't want to be here because when you have like a Cam Hayward and everybody else saying that you need to hurry up, make a decision. Because it affects their career as well. And respect for them. you don't want to lose respect in the locker room before become a Pittsburgh Steeler, because you can do that. If everybody knows business is business, everybody kind of knows because they talk to their agents and know where where you're leaning towards. The free agency frenzy is over. You probably need to make a decision, or you're going to be like, okay, well, what was it that held you away from signing, not being here, but signing? And that's a huge thing. It's almost like, remember back in the day where when they only had one signing day and, say Jay Foreman was supposed to commit. Then I was like, oh, I'm not going to send in my fax back then. That's how old I'm dating myself, fax. And then they didn't send in the fax until like a week later. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That creates a underlying sense of pressure that you better be worth it. You better be Aaron Rodgers when you're the MVP. If you're not, then Pittsburgh, they not only will be on social media, they'll find you at the grocery store because it's not a very big city.
Yeah, that's one of those franchises that you don't want to make an enemy of the fans because they don't forget. They also not forget they'll love you to death, like they love Ben Roethlisberger, and
right.
he's had some of his antics like post his career, but those guys will defend him.
He had antics during his career, extended his career, and then he has this thing where he puts his helmet on. He said he'd come out of retirement. I mean, that's how desperate you might be. Well, in your mind, who besides Aaron Rodgers, who can go there?
Start like you're saying, you're hanging on to the draft, and what is a pretty weak, by on the outside looking in, a weak quarterback class this year, and then you really don't. You just paid all this money, and you're going to be hanging on to the edge of your seat on draft day, hoping that because. I mean, after Dart, I don't really trust anybody.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking about the quarterback from Louisville kind of shooting up the charts and guys so forth, and Will Howard. Obviously, I think they said probably come in as a backup, then eventually can continue to get better to be possibly a starter just because he has enough running ability and knows how to play the position. I think it's. I don't know. I mean, and then you wonder if Aaron Rodgers really wants to play football.
I don't know. See, that's where it's just that guy works in the shadows. This part of his career, and it's a tough read. And that's where, again, if I'm the Steelers, like he's kind of at the point where Kyrie Irving was with me in the NBA. And now, shout out to Kyrie Irving because he actually
he reinvented himself.
But I don't trust Rodgers to. Kyrie had a point where he I don't know if I believe Rodgers to reinvent himself.
Yeah, and it wouldn't, and I don't think it'd be too hard. I mean, obviously, I think the one thing I will say that I've heard Aaron Rodgers is a better teammate than what people give him credit for. He done but he does it like on his own.
Well, I mean, it's pretty easy. Like when you're just bringing the Packers everywhere you go, they're gonna like
it. Hey, Harrison. Hey, you know how them conversations are. Hey, homeboy, what you doing? Man, I'm just chilling. Oh man, I gotta go mow the lawn real quick. Gotta go pick the kids up. Hey, you ready to ball? Where at? Don't ask. Just your agent pick up the phone, and you get paid. That's true. I think if he could have brought Cobb and got Donald Driver out of retirement, he would have. But I think there's some you hear stories about guys that are hurt and Aaron Rodgers making it paying for a jet to go get him so they could get really good surgery. I mean that's where. He probably gets a little bit more credibility, but I think right now at this point, I guess if it was me, I'd probably wonder if he wants to play football, and that's a hard look. I was able to play 9 seasons, get eight seasons credit. My body failed me. You know what I mean? Whereas him, he's been pretty injury free. Obviously, last injury did not be able to play up to your standard. I think Travis Kelce made his decision real quick. You would have liked to think Aaron Rodgers would as well, but I think also playing in that New York market can wear you out some.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of he brought it upon himself, but then also just constant pressure, and you're not living up to expectations. You come there with a whole bunch of expectations. That's why you should always travel with a standard. The standard wasn't met. The expectations got way too high. Became pressure. He took shots at the owner's son, saying that he was like essentially playing Madden. He needs to be the GM.
Mm-hmm.
He got Robert Saleh's fired, and I mean it just was not a good deal out there. So it can really wear on you, and it can make you a little wary, no matter who you are. I mean, he probably has a little doubt, and he doesn't doubt if he's a good one of the best of all time. Probably a little bit of doubt whether he still has it. Will it work in Pittsburgh? Pittsburgh wasn't, explosive offensively. Will it mesh? Do I want to play more than 1 year? Because you realize once the season starts, once you get in the off season, the season goes by quick. And then, so you think 2 years, and he has the opportunity, and he would be able to play for as much as he wanted if he plays well. Maybe that's going through his mind, and he probably feels like he doesn't have to he knows Pittsburgh doesn't have any options. Pittsburgh knows he didn't have any options. He could probably get back to him when he feels like it. But if I was Pittsburgh, that email would have a timer on the end that you better reply or else it goes away.
Yeah, and I guess that's where Pittsburgh's kind of they're at a tough spot because they know Rodgers doesn't have to play at all. So if they are serious about trying to get him in the door, it's like they want to put the timer on it, but at the same time, it's like we piss this guy off at all. Like it's pretty easy for him to walk away. As opposed to that, they need to figure it out right now. Rodgers doesn't necessarily need to figure it out. I mean, personally, he does, but he's not running a team. He's just got to worry about his own self. So. Yeah, I don't know what Rodgers is. If I'm the Steelers, though, I'm doing what you're doing. I'm putting a timer, a number, and I'm moving on pretty quiully here because the Rodgers sweepstakes doesn't seem to have a timer.
And because I think this might be the first time he's not necessarily running the team. He kind of ran. He kind of was able to somewhat dictate things in Green Bay. I know he was upset with the way some of the really good players were treated. Rightfully so. When you're a veteran and a Hall of Famer, you can voice your opinion like that without worrying about your job security. But definitely was running the show in New York, and now late in your career, I would like to think he trusts Mike Tomlin, he trusts Pittsburgh. Probably do him some good to be in that city off the beaten path. He's been successful in smaller cities, and that's a hell of a defense when you got T.J. Watt and company over there as well. And it's a tough division, so you can get in the playoffs. You never know what can happen. I don't think there's a spot to where Aaron Rodgers plug and play and is going to go into a Super Bowl run. I don't think that's it. And so you have to make your own way, and maybe that's something he's weighing. Or the third option is, which is the Joker, is that he's probably already committed to him, and he probably just waiting. You know what I mean? Probably already signed. Everybody's like, "Hey, look, I'm coming. Don't worry about it. Let's announce it the day before the draft," and that might be something to do. Yeah, because you can get teams to ask you to trade down, trade up, accumulate some assets, and you already got Aaron Rodgers, so it kind of give you a little bit of advantage. So you just never know when he's going to make his decision or come out of his darkness. But what we're going to do, we're going to go into darkness a little bit, give a quick break, come back, put a bow on this bad boy, Jay Foreman, old school, with my man Harrison on the ones and twos. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this spring at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through April 1st is $1 off all pasta, $2 off spaghetti sauce, and special discounts on hamburgers. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or also at 168th and Maple Streets in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
We should be seeing quite a bit of sunshine here for our Monday. Kind of a cool day out there. 54 for a high temperature, light northwest wind. We could see a few showers roll into the region later on tonight. We'll drop down to 40 for a low. Better chance of rain Tuesday into Tuesday night, maybe even some severe thunderstorms as well. High temperatures will get up into the mid-60s then. I'm meteorologist Aaron Downer for 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
You grew up on cereal for breakfast and you graduated into drinking coffee at some point as an adult. Now there's a place in Lincoln where you can stay caffeinated but eat like you used to. Control Coffee and Cereal Bar brings Saturday morning vibes to every day with locally roasted specialty coffees, Lotus energy drinks, and tons of breakfast cereals with toppings. And did we mention they have video games to play while you're there too? Control Coffee and Cereal Bar open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday and 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. on the weekends at 15th and Pine Lake.
Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
and electrical.
A lot of businesses say they're family focused, but when tough situations in life arise, the business wants anything but your best interests. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring, and they will always treat their employees like family, just as they do their customers. James Enterprise Incorporated is hiring Class A and B CDL drivers, a shop tech, and a diesel mechanic. If you're looking for a career with a company that goes above and beyond to value you and your family, apply today at jamesenterpriseinc.com or call 402-432-6740.
Mike, I've been thinking our house could really use a makeover. How about new siding?
I've been thinking the same thing. Have you heard of James Hardy?
Yes! Sarah down the street had Roofing Service Company install James Hardy siding on their home, and they love it.
Roofing Service Company does have great reviews.
They took her through the design process and made everything super easy.
Roofing Service Company offers expert design and installation. Couple that with James Hardy's durable products and variety of colors, you and your family will love your exterior remodel. Just visit roofingservicecompany.com. That's roofingservicecompany.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Get ready for spring by joining an evidence-based program to improve your health and well-being. These programs use proven strategies to help you make lasting changes, whether it's boosting nutrition, increasing activity, managing stress, or enhancing wellness. Invest in yourself today and feel your best this spring and beyond. Paid for by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe. Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back. Quick segment. Jay Foreman, old school, with my man Harrison, Chicago Bear. Harrison, I'm gonna tell you this, man. Before we talk a little bit of Huskers basketball, you gotta be confident though this season, though.
Yeah. I mean, I am very similar like the Husker football boat. Like I'm just very cautiously optimistic because remember last year.
Yeah, I remember.
This is the exact same Bears conversation. Everyone's like, look at all the weapons we brought in. The offensive line still really stunk, but this year that's fixed too. So,
well, I think
I'm going to be panicking more because I don't know what the answer is.
I like Ben Johnson as an offensive coach. I think Eberflus, no matter what, was on the hot seat unless they did something extraordinary. And
almost saved him and gave him, one more year.
Yeah, and I know, right? But I think that Hail Mary play probably sealed it, even though it had nothing to do with him. But I like their emphasis on getting bigger and more physical up front. I think Caleb Williams take all the knucklehead stuff he did after the game when like CJ Stroud had to talk to him and all that stuff and the stupid quote saying that he wants to own a team and be a billionaire and all that. Like he actually played decent, or efficiency. He was a little bit better. I still think he needs to get the ball out of his hand, but I think that's where Ben Johnson's going to help him the most. And I will tell you, it's probably hard to coach all those, coach as an offensive coach, knowing one couple bad weeks, you guys are gone. And obviously, Caleb Williams probably being able to go past the head coach to the GM to find out whether you got a job or not. But then I think, getting Ben Johnson, they've been on him for a while, offensive mindset, building that team kind of like Detroit, physical, going to have to be tough attitude. And to be honest with you, I think the NFC Central is up for grabs. I think Green Bay, until they get a true number one, is limited. You know what I'm saying? For Jordan Love. Minnesota is good, but I think they're beatable. Obviously, you saw them in the playoffs. And then I think Detroit losing all the coaches, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, even though I think Dan Campbell is there. They lost some players through free agency. I think last year was their window. I wouldn't say that it's closed, but that was their best chance. Their success actually bit them in the butt where, you had coordinators interviewing for jobs. Mm-hmm. So if I'm Chicago and you go back and look how they played down the stretch, the games weren't always blowouts. And so they started to play some better defense, which I think it could be a holdover. And if the offense gets better and more physical with the running attack, I like their chances to make some noise. And, you never know what's going to happen in anybody else's building, but for what Chicago's been able to do, it's probably I think it's a truly a different offseason. I didn't think Caleb Williams and those guys would have been able to do anything. I think they surrounded them with decent pieces, but didn't have an idea how to use them. Now, Mississippi Mud Dog said Green Bay is going to win the division, rightfully so. But I think Chicago, you have to look at the schedule for another time, Harrison. I think they can win a wild card if they get off to a good start. And it's all going to be
going to have to be in that NFC North, at least for the next few years here. It's going to be a 2, maybe even sometimes 3 playoff teams year in, year out.
Right. I mean, they could be running the NFC. Went from the NFC West, and now you had the East, and obviously you got the Eagles and the Commanders. But you got to think those 4 teams. Okay, just assume JJ is good, right?
One of the best coach teams, even if you're not super high on McCarthy. I just think
right, but
coached.
But he has a head coach that believes in him. So that's your franchise quarterback. Bears got a franchise quarterback. Detroit does, and so does Green Bay. It's hard to have, when you look at the divisions, just look at the NFC East. Cowboys don't believe in Dak, right? That just shows you they've never believed in Dak, based on how they negotiated with him. The Giants, they don't believe in Russell Wilson as a franchise guy. And, he's a little bit long in the tooth. So it's it's just the Commanders that really think they have a franchise quarterback. And I'm willing to say this, even though Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl and played phenomenal in the Super Bowl, they're still like, yeah, but up there. They were butting and thinking about getting him out of there until they started getting rolling late in the season. Right?
Which is crazy. Jalen Hurts might be one of the most undeservedly less thought of quarterbacks.
Right. But what I'm saying is, you talk about the division, NFC Central or North, quarterbacks, they have the best 4. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Not the best 4, but the most secure 4 right now as it stands. Because you got Sam Darnold out there in the West. The 49ers, they still are refusing to play Brock Purdy versus Peanuts, and he keeps winning. Matthew Stafford was almost a New York Giant. And then Pocket Hercules with the Cardinals, even though he played better, it's a make or break year for him. So when you think about, constantly being in the mix and where the Bears are, they got to feel confident where they're able to operate in their division, and then obviously throughout the NFC. But what we're going to do is obviously, turn it over to Ticket Weeknights for about 15, 20 minutes, and or actually in that full hour. Excuse me. I was thinking Central Time. Turn over Ticket Weeknights, but this is old school. Jay Foreman, Harrison. We'll highlight you tomorrow, but be sure Tom Chattel, right, at Harrison at 6.
Yep. You got Tom Chattel, World Herald.
Yeah, he's always good, man. He comes on, a lot of knowledge, good dude. But for me, Harrison, and the old school crew, and the Mercado, appreciate you. We'll talk to you tomorrow.